Culture. I'm really interested in the culture of other countries. I don't know why, but I always think other cultures are more interesting than my own culture. Every time I travel, I learn wonderful, strange, amazing, and interesting things about other cultures. One of the biggest surprises I had was when I went to the USA as a child. I'm English, so I thought Americans had the same culture as me. When I went to America, I understood Americans and Brits are very different people. Understanding the culture of other people is very important. It helps us all to get along. If everyone really tried to learn about other cultures, the world would be a more peaceful place. The world is becoming smaller, so I think this is happening.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day and welcome back to another lesson. First of all, sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry for the last couple months I was not able to publish any new videos, but as I promised you before that I will accompany you until the end of this course. And today we have Unit 14 from lesson 22, and it is as usual an interesting topic, and I hope you will be able to pay fully focus to this lesson because it is about interview. It's about interviewing or interviewing. As you know, after we graduate from university, our biggest goal, or let's say our long-term goal, would be, let's say our short-term goal would be to find a job that we like, right? So in order to get a job, we must pass through a step which is called interview. Okay, so today we will learn how to prepare ourselves for the interview, and how do we answer the questions during the interview in a best way. Okay, and let's dive into the lesson. From the aims of the lesson, we have the first one is asking interview questions. If you are a human resource manager, HR, then how would you ask your questions? Okay, and the second one is describing strengths and weaknesses. If you are a candidate, then how would you answer the strengths and weaknesses of the interview? Because as you know, these questions are really important because it catches the attention of the interviewer, okay, of the HR, of the human resource manager. The title of today's lesson is very organized. Very organized, and the opposite of it is messy. Okay, organized, messy. You can say I'm really messy. Okay, very organized means you have planned for everything. Okay, you have planned for your study. Your room is organized. Your smartphones are in a place. Your laptops are in a place, and your books are in a place. They're all organized. Okay, but when you're messy, then things are around on the floor everywhere. Okay, Unit 14. Let's move to the vocabulary section here. Okay, what kind of person are you? Are you in a work environment? Check the words that describe you. Okay, detail oriented. Okay, like that, detail oriented. This is detail oriented. A hard worker or a hard worker. A team player. Efficient. A self-starter. A professional. Okay, a professional. Organized. A perfectionist. motivated or motivated. Motivated or motivated. Okay? Motivated in the US accent, motivated in the British accent. Okay? Let's switch to the vocabulary part B, pair work. Take turns describing yourselves. Use the words above. Okay? How do you describe yourself? I'm very detail oriented. Okay, explain it more. I pay attention to small things. Imagine that you are in the interview, okay? The interviewer asks you, okay, how do you describe yourself? I'm a very detail-oriented person. I pay attention to small things, to small details, okay? Or you can say, well, I describe myself as a team player because I always like to be around people. Okay? Next, how do you describe yourself? Well, I describe myself as a self-starter because I would like to have my own ideas and I would like to have my own business. I usually like to work as an entrepreneur. Okay, entrepreneur is someone who has his own business. If I have a business for myself, then I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, entrepreneur. That's all. Okay, I think part B is clear. How do you describe yourself? Answer briefly, then give some detail for your answer. Okay, or you can say, or a hard worker. Okay, how do you describe yourself? Well, I describe myself as a hard worker because when my manager gives me a task, I must finish it on time. Okay, I force myself to finish it on time. This is when you are a hard worker person. Okay, let's move to the conversation section, and we have audio track number 35. So I'm going to play the audio track now. Listen to it carefully. After the conversation, we have part B, which we will put them in these blanks that we have here. Okay, so let me play the audio track.
Lesson 14. I'm very organized. Page 34. Conversation. A. Listen. What are Kyle's strengths and weaknesses? Do you think he will get the job?
All right, Kyle. Now I'd like to ask, what would you bring to our organization?
Well, I'm very organized. I can keep track of a lot of different tasks at a time.
I see.
Also, I'm extremely efficient.
That's excellent. And what is your biggest weakness?
Let me think. Sometimes I'm too detail-oriented, but that can be useful when I'm writing a report.
And what is the biggest challenge you've ever faced at work?
Good question. Well, once I had to work with a team of 30 people. That was difficult, but I'm a good team player.
Sorry, I didn't know that my mic is mute. Okay, so look at these questions. We have all right. These expressions, all right. Well, that's excellent. Let me think. Good question. Native speakers usually use these expressions to start their statements, to start their conversation, to start their speech. Okay, you can use them too. Okay. So let's move to part B and fill out the blanks. Okay, so the first one is all right. Now I would like to ask, what would you bring to our organization? Okay, in other words, this is number 3. In other words, what are your greatest strengths? Next, I'm very organized. I can keep track of a lot of different tasks at a time. Okay, I see we need someone who is organized. Next, also, I'm extremely efficient. I'm extremely efficient. Okay. Number 4. I can do a lot of work in a short amount of time. Next. Good question. Well, once I had to work with a team of 30 people. Okay, blank. That was difficult. So, number 1. We had to complete a big project in a week. That was difficult, but I'm a good team player. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's move to language booster section and review all of the things that we have studied so far. Asking in interview questions and describing strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so what would you bring to our organization? Or, in other words, what are your greatest strengths? You can say, well, I'm very organized. Okay, or you can say, let's see, I'm a hard worker. I have good writing skills. I have good communication skills. You know, I use this expression before you start answering the question. You say, that's a good question. I have good computer skills. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, I have good language skills. Okay, I can speak English, Arabic, and Kurdish. Okay, please use these expressions. That's an interesting question. Okay, and then a good question. Then start answering it. Okay, next. What is your biggest weakness? Be careful about answering this question. I suggest to you always use sometimes before answering your weaknesses. Okay, sometimes. Okay, for example, what is your biggest weakness? Sometimes I'm too detail oriented. Or you can say, well, sometimes I'm too focused. Okay, be careful about this question. It is really important because you have to answer this question in a way that you will not damage, let's say, your personality. Okay, you will not damage your quality. Okay. So this is for, and again, I suggest to you to always use sometimes before answering the question. You can say, well, sometimes I'm angry. Okay. What is your biggest challenge you've ever faced at work? Okay, this is related to your previous jobs, your previous works. Okay, what is the biggest challenge you've ever faced at work? Okay, I used to, or I didn't used to. Okay, but now, blah 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 blah. Okay. For example, let me give you an example about that. So you can say, well, that's a good question. Still some time to think about the question and find an answer for it. Okay, still some time. Okay, I used to work for a company and suddenly most of the employees gave up their job. So their tasks transferred to me. Okay, I had to do their jobs too, and my manager asked me, can you do their tasks until I hire new employees? I agreed to his suggestion, and I was successful in running their tasks. Okay, this was a challenge. Okay, because you had to do multitasking. Okay, multitasking. More than one job, more than one work. Okay, or you can say, let me think. Okay, well, once I had to do my friend's job or to do other employees' tasks because they decided to quit their jobs, or in other words, they gave up their job, or in other words, they got fired at their job. Look for the synonyms: got fired, gave up, and quit. Okay. Synonyms are important in English. Okay, this is regarding language booster section, and now let's move to the listening section. Okay, Let's here we have Lena and this can be Jill or Gil. Okay, Jill, Lena and Jill, cooperative, detail-oriented, good people skills, organized, a perfectionist, professional, responsible, self-starter. Okay, let's hear the conversation.
Page 35. Listening. A and B.
So, Lena, tell me, what would you bring to our organization?
Well, first of all, I'm a self-starter. If I see a job that needs to be done, I do it. I don't wait for someone to ask me to do it.
That's great. What are some of your other strengths?
I'm very professional, and I have good people skills. I get along with people very well.
Okay, that's good. Now, what is your biggest weakness?
Let me think. I would have to say that my biggest weakness is sometimes I'm a perfectionist, but that can be useful in certain situations. For example, last year, when our accountant quit, I had to take over the accounting duties. I found several mistakes and saved my company over $1,000.
That's very impressive. I have one more question for you. What is the biggest challenge you've ever faced at work?
That's an interesting question. Once I had to give a presentation to a group of 50 employees. I had only one day to prepare. I was really nervous, but I prepared very carefully and my presentation went very well.
Your resume looks very impressive, Gil.
Thank you very much.
You have a lot of work experience, but what are some of your greatest strengths?
Let's see. Well, I'm responsible. You can always count on me to get to the office on time and finish my work.
Good, that's important. What other strengths would you bring to our organization?
Well, I'm very detail-oriented. My work is never sloppy. Also, I'm very cooperative and I work well with others.
I'm pleased to hear that. What is the biggest challenge you've ever faced at work?
Well, once I had to manage 10 projects at one time because my company didn't have enough managers. It was very difficult to keep all of the projects organized, but we finished all 10 projects on time.
That's great. What are your biggest weaknesses?
Actually, I used to be very disorganized, but I took a class on organization skills, and now being organized is one of my biggest strengths.
Now you can answer, you can listen to the audio track again and listen again. What were Lena's and Gil's biggest challenge at work? Okay, only the challenge. This was giving a presentation for Lena, if you remember it. She was giving a presentation to a group of people. Okay, what about Gil? You listen to the audio track and answer my question. Let's move to the Speak with Confidence section and says, complete the chart with your strengths, weaknesses, and biggest work-related challenge. Okay, greatest strengths and biggest challenge. Okay, greatest strengths and biggest weaknesses. Okay, you can say cooperative. Okay. Okay, I'm a really cooperative person, or you can say greatest strength, I'm a really too focused person. I'm a really too focused person. Biggest weakness, well, I didn't used to be cooperative, but now I am really cooperative and I help my friends a lot. Sometimes I am too focused, but that can be useful when you have a single task to focus on, because if you're a too focused person, if you have multitasking, more than one job, you cannot pay equal focus on all of them. Okay, you can pay fully focus to only one of them. Okay, biggest challenge is when you have a biggest challenge. I had to make contact online. Okay, with 10 people at the same time for sharing ideas a couple of years ago. Okay, this was the biggest challenge. This person. Okay, these are only examples to help you to write more example. Now let's move to the conversation section where we will be having a conversation face to face. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. This is a face-to-face conversation where I will be asking you a couple questions and then I will give you my answers to all of my questions. So what I will be doing here is I'm asking you questions and then you go ahead and answer my questions. And by the way, I'm going to write down the answers for my questions, but you can have your own answers and it is absolutely fine. Okay, so we will start from the very first question, which is, please introduce yourself. That is great. Now, tell us about yourself and why did you apply for this job? Now, tell us what is your greatest weakness and strength. And now tell us, what is your expected salary or what is your salary expectation? That was a good conversation. Until the next lesson, peace out.